And good morning, everyone. 48 minutes after 9 o'clock on this 7th day of May. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm wave meteorologist Brian Goode. Welcome to the blog today. Quick check of how things are trending this week, as we do have a couple of our upper low friends that will still be at play. One of those is arriving right now. Already showing up some rain across Kentucky. I'll show you the radar views. We'll walk through that, get you through the entire setup all the way into the Mother's Day holiday weekend. And then we'll discuss how that same low that's visiting today loves us so much that it's going to come back for another visit, which I think is just an act of kindness. And it'll be back by early next week. And then finally, we have another front that'll move in to move it out of the way. But how does the rest of next week start to evolve? It's starting to look a little more muddy on how the noise is toward the middle portion of May. I'll talk more about what to expect there with that here in just a second. As always, you guys can comment, as you guys know, on the social media side. If you're watching on streaming, there's no comment button on the streaming service yet. We're hoping to get that changed. But for now, you'll have to go to social media, and you can keep both streams up if you would like. Hello to Jeff, watching on X right now. Longtime viewer. Well, welcome, Jeff. Everyone in the chat, they've been here a lot. Everyone say hello. Welcome, Jeff. Give him some clappy hands or whatever the emotes are these days. Hello to Susan. Is Harry enjoying the weather? I would like to think someone is. Harry, unfortunately, can only be outside in short doses. He has not met his minimum threshold yet of being outside as a cicada tortoise. So, unfortunately, Harry is not outside all the way just yet. One of the later times in 5 years I've had to wait for this to happen. So he's ready. Trust me. He's loud in the house. So he's ready to go. So it won't be long, and he'll be back in his sanctuary very, very soon. But thank you for asking. I appreciate that. Morning to Albert. I hope all is well. A lot of you on YouTube, as always. YouTubers are up early. Hello to Ryan. Hello to Adam. Adam, we were talking about you yesterday. I can't tell if it was good or bad, but we were talking about you. Hello to Roger. How you doing, Roger, on X as well? Okay, so I think we got everyone, most of the core group, in the chat here. So we're ready to go. I'll tell you what we're going to do. As always the case, I like to go everything in a chronological order. It helps me out, and hopefully will help you out if we break it down that way. And then we can always recap as a group near the campfire and kind of sort things out from there. And if there's any questions, right? All right, let's start with where we stand for this Wednesday morning. Since I was out Monday, I have to calibrate how the week is going on days. All right, this is live look at Kentucky Kingdom. Boy, this is going to be a different shot here before long, right? What, 3 weeks? Not even that. They should start having some of the weekend visits for students, especially. Not much, daily operations won't be intact yet, but soon we should at least start to see some of these rides starting to fire up, and that should be always a lot of fun. You can see the city of Louisville way in the distance, but what really stands out is this. Oh, yeah, a lot of clouds. They're back again. You won't need the shades as much today compared to what we had yesterday, unfortunately. So here's a look at the numbers. These are actually very close to the numbers yesterday at this time. We were trying to get out of the cloud bank and to get into a partly sunny sky. Now today, we've held on to that all night. We've had a little bit of a blanket in the area, but unfortunately, we just don't have any decent amount of sun today. Hopefully, to make a huge difference. I still think we'll be able to climb today. I don't know if we'll get as warm as yesterday, but it should be close. Only an hour or two of sun can make a big difference there for sure today. Remember, the average temperature this time of the year is at 75 degrees. Okay, can you guys even see what I'm drawing? I just realized you're not. It is a Wednesday that feels like a Monday. Okay, how about that? Does that work? Hello, Tyler. Sorry, Tyler. I apologize. I got you figured out now, though. So, okay. And now the name says Carson. What is happening today? Is this the Twilight Zone? What's going on? Okay, hold on. Fix this. And 1, 2, 3. Okay, boom. There I am. I'm back. Whew. All right. I'm not sure what has happened in the past 24 hours, but we've got her back online again. All right, everyone good? Everyone good now, says Tyler. All right. So got rid of the spammers. And also, please let me know, too, if you get spammers in the chat. But also be careful whenever you do comment on anything in our pages. And I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about you. Myron. Sorry, Don G. Doesn't matter. Please be careful. You guys have been likely noticing that whenever you comment on a post that starts to get viral, or not necessarily viral, it just is a popular post at that moment, that day, there are a lot of spammers that interject into the comment line, and they will reply to your comment and try to get you. They'll say things like, hey, do you want to be my friend? If so, click here. That kind of stuff. Just be suspicious of that. Hopefully delete it. Don't click on any links at all and get rid of them. Otherwise, you'll just be spammed over and over. And our TV accounts are all that way. Anywhere in the country, any account that has a certain volume that is reached, the spammers attack those accounts. I don't know how they track it all, but they do. So please just be extra careful and don't trust easily. All right, so I want you guys to be safe with that. Spammers are causing a mess today. They are. Are there any more left? Did I get them all? Are there any more hiding that I can't see? Come out, wherever you are. And we'll find you. All right, well, let me know, and I will take care of that. Okay, let's move on. Let's get into the satellite. You can see the clouds are overhead. This is the reason why it's not as pretty of a day today. They may thin out at times, so a little bit of sun, but don't bet on a Bob Ross kind of day here today, right? We're not going to look at the beautiful puffy cumulus clouds in the blue sky all afternoon. Unfortunately, that's not the case because of this, the area of green. The first spiral or leg, arm, whatever, that is being kicked out of the Texas low pressure has now reached into southwest Kentucky. As it does so, it's going to try its best to allow for some showers to survive today. Now, this portion of it tilts down into northern areas of Georgia, right around Chattanooga, Tennessee is what I was trying to say. So we'll tilt a bit, so that will allow it to become a little more east-west look on the radar. Has been later on this afternoon. No issues with this. This is just general showers. If you're in Indiana, based on the pivot of how this will take, it may keep you mainly dry until we get to the front. And a front is on the way. And once that front gets closer to us, it may kick up your rain chance. But that's more so for your Thursday, not so much for this Wednesday. Wednesday's rain today is all about Kentucky and very, very spotty. Most of this, again, having trouble reaching the ground. So it's when we say the bark is worse than the bite, that kind of play out will work fine in the analogy I'm trying to use here for that rain setup today. Very, very minor rainfall amounts, but I know just not a pretty looking day. Yes, it is part of the low itself that is spinning back to the west, way to our west, actually into the plain still, But again, these are little spokes. If you have to look at me, get rid of my drawings here. These are the long arms on them that stretch all the way back to the parent low. And these kind of pinwheel around, but because the low pressure is way out into Oklahoma and it's moving so slow, these bands just move very, very slow and just kind of drift to the east. But they're drifting in drier air, so rainfall amounts will be quite limited. Nothing severe. Important to point that out. Wider view shows there's the center of that low over here into portions of Kansas and Oklahoma. Severe weather from last night is already being able to develop all the way down into areas of the Gulf Coast states, right around, say, I-10 to maybe up to I-20, but mainly I-10. A lot of the beaches being impacted by these showers and thunderstorms. But for us, this will really begin to fade out just a bit more later on tonight. Now, this low is going to keep heading east, the one that's in Wichita. It's going to keep heading toward St. Louis and to West Kentucky, but it's got a slow journey, but a steady journey. So we're expecting its arrival time very close to about sunrise, if not before tomorrow morning, is when it should arrive. And as it does so, what you cannot see on this chart is a cold front that is sneaking down across the Great Lakes into near Omaha. That front does not have much to work with yet because all these low pressures, these cutoff lows that we've had on the map, you can almost track them here. Really, this is one big one, right? So 1 and then 2 Derby Day low there. They're kind of blocking the flow of the front. So the front is trying to sag down from the Lake Michigan area and head southbound, but it's coming through dry so far until it gets a little lower in latitude. Once it drops a little further to the south, it gets close to, say, central Indiana, near St. Louis, maybe Cincinnati. Once it gets that close to us, and we still have our spin that will be somewhere around in here in Arkansas, we will have our showers kind of wrapped around it in our area. The front will have had a chance to scoop up that moisture. The front will be stronger than the low pressure will be. That's a big plus. That would then allow for all of this mess to get pushed down to the south, down to where it was earlier, I-20, I-10. And that's where it will stop for at least a good chunk of the upcoming weekend. So thank goodness for this front. If we did not have this front moving in today and tonight to push all this mess to the south, well, as I mentioned yesterday, this upper low that is out into Kansas now would just keep drifting into Kentucky, and it would sit right over in our area and through Mother's Day with a daily chance of showers, clouds, you name it. It would be crummy weather back in the area again. But we can thank the cold front that is dropping in from the north. That will be our saving grace, arriving by, I would say, mid-afternoon tomorrow. You will clearly know on even the look of the radar, you should be able to see where there's a more of a line. That will be the front dropping down to clear the air out. Again, the front is stronger than the low, so that will push everything down to the south, and we have a chance to catch a nice little break for at least a couple of days before other shenanigans take place. All right, let me show you this hour by hour. And here we go with Futurecast showing at least a chance to get some spotty showers across Kentucky today. I don't think we're going to see much action out of this all the way through 6 o'clock. Notice where your fuel is, your Cape, located back here into southern Missouri. Yeah, not a whole lot of kicking up there. So very, very spotty on the rain chance today. I think we're keeping it roughly at about 10 to maybe 20%. Nothing too wild at all, just because of the limited amount of moisture this thing has. It's been spinning on the map now for days and days. It's tired. We're tired, and we're tired of it. So let's move this thing right along. Once we get into your Wednesday night, one more little uptick in the spiral band from that low gets thrown at us across central areas of Kentucky, and this time into parts of Indiana, we'll get some showers. These may have thunder with them, but it'll be in the middle of the night, so they'll be elevated. So we're only talking about literally that, just a few rumbles of thunder, nothing on the severe side, but they will likely create at least some morning rain for the kids and everyone trying to venture out early in the day. I don't know if it's going to be impacting Louisville directly, but if you're in E-Town, Bardstown, in that area, you may have a wet morning drive and a wet setup for the kids to get to the bus stops for your Thursday morning, okay? That's just the outer spoke of one of the low pressures. That's why the rain does enhance. But now we're starting to see signs of our cold front. Yes. There she is right there across near I-70 from Ohio in through Indiana and into Illinois. So this is the one that's on the march heading southbound. Now, it's worth mentioning, as it heads southbound, it will try to scoop up some of that moisture this low is having fun with down to the south. So as it does so, that front will also start to get in on the action. And then this is really where Indiana's rain chance will be for the entire event, is when the front interacts with the low spinning to our south here. So this is your main rain chance, Indiana. It's an afternoon chance for Thursday. Not so much today, not really much to really track tonight even, but during the afternoon hours on your Thursday, yeah, I think that'll be your highest rain chance for Indiana counties. See the cape that builds up over Kentucky? We talked about this yesterday. Still looking at the same. Not enough for severe weather. This is very much low in cape or fuel. Enough, though, to allow for lightning and thunder to take place. All right, but very, very weak fields, weak wind fields overall. So we're not concerned about organized thunderstorms or even severe weather in that sense. All right, so here we are Thursday, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and boom, here we go. Warm front, or the cold front, is on the move, grabs a hold of the rain and starts its journey of starting to push it down to the south. That should clear Indiana by 8 o'clock Thursday evening, should clear Louisville by 3 a.m., and should clear most of our counties by, I would say, 9 to 10 a.m. on Friday, and all areas will certainly be in the clear by Friday afternoon with hardly a cloud in the sky and cooler weather in the 60s, but sunshine galore everywhere. What a nice end to the week after, I'm sure some of you get a little nervous. A couple of lows moving by, they're going to get stuck again over us. They tend to get stuck over in our area. These will not. The front is our saving grace, as I mentioned. All right, front gets in here, knocks it out. The good news about that, it will buy us a couple of days of some decent weather. And I think that Mother's Day is fair to throw into that. I think Mother's Day itself will be pleasant. We're not looking at a rapid warming scenario. The amount of warming you're going to see this weekend, guys, is all about the sun angle for mid-May. So a decent amount of sunshine this time of the year. Normally on the modeling, it'll spit out numbers like 67, 68, something like that for a high. But we have to realize we're almost the summer. So that angle begins to get higher on the sun, so we can easily exceed that. So we're going nearly 10 degrees above what the models are telling us. So we're going mid to upper 70s, perhaps even touching 80 on Mother's Day. So it will be a very pleasantly warm, low humidity type of setup for the weekend. Great weekend. Now, our low front here that's got pushed down to the south, now it's festering on I-10. It's angry, it's mad, team members, and it's Board of Elections, I have no idea. It's upset. It's upset. It wants revenge on us, right? So, because we cut it off its pass. Its whole goal was to come ruin our weekend, but that didn't happen. So it will now have a chance to reverse and head back north, and I guess you know where I'm going with this. It will do that, just that. Gets its group together, packs up its bags, and then begins to journey north. And that north journey could start as early as Sunday night. I'm thinking this is more of a Monday issue now, before we have to worry about it, Monday into Tuesday. And that's when that low will come back for yet another visit of showers and thunderstorms. This time around, it has something that the past two have been missing. Does anyone know what that is? Type 1 if you know, and the answer. Type 1 if you know. For its revenge attack here for early next week. Are there more spammers? I'm not seeing them. Maybe I'm just not scrolling far enough back. There are a lot of you in here, so I'm sorry, guys. I'll try to keep a better track on them. All right, let's see. Spammers, I can't see your comment. Hold on one second. Cape. Close. I will give you that on the Cape, but it's not just Cape. The one thing it's bringing back that we did not have before is, there you go. Sandra got it. So did Tim, really. A bad attitude? Thanks, Tim. Yeah, you're right. It's bringing back a bad attitude. It's bringing back the wind. So the wind shear, which prevents storms from becoming organized, it's not off the chain here, but it is more elevated than the past two previous lows. So it's almost like it goes down the Gulf of Mexico and gets some of that tropical air, gets stuff organized, and then it makes a comeback toward our area. And this will be, again, early next week that we're talking about. Now, at this point, I'm not sold and certain on severe weather in our area, just because the path of low has to be figured out. If we're along the path of low, we may be more on the showery side, But if you're on the eastern side of the low, that would put us East Kentucky and certainly in the Carolinas, much more of a severe thunderstorm potential may grow there. So the path that it emerges is important. If it ends up drifting a little more west towards, say, St. Louis, we would then be on the eastern side and would be a little more risk for some stronger storms. And then same can be said, if it were to drift a little more east, we would certainly be just on the tamer side of just light showers being thrown at us. Either way, impacts are coming from this system that is coming back in early next week. But it cannot stay around for long. And that's the best news of all, because just like our front that saves us on Thursday, another front will be moving in across the upper Midwest and will give it the kick. It almost looks like a foot, doesn't it? Something like a foot here and a boot. And that thing's just going to kick that and boom, kick it on out of here. So that's what happens with that low. So see you later. Bye. Have fun. As it gets the boot, we will then get into a setup that will feature some very warm weather for the latter half of next week. The only thing I will say compared to yesterday, it does not look like the warm weather of 80s is going to build in the area and stick around for several days. It is a short-lived tease to summer, short-lived, because unfortunately, we're going to get into what we call an MCS mode, which are mesoscale convective systems. Rounds of thunderstorms will begin to play. The jet stream is still very buckled, so you're going to have a lot of wild changes, but the one change you don't really want this time of the year especially is a northwest flow with plenty of fuel in your area. That only will lead to rounds of thunderstorms that drop in with damaging wind threats day and night. And that setup is starting to show up. If I had to put a date on it, I'm thinking it's going to be, I don't know if it'll be as early as next Wednesday the 15th or Thursday the 15th. It may hold off until Friday the 16th. More likely, though, that following weekend of the 17th and 18th of May, that following weekend, we may get into a storm setup here where we may feature multiple ones dropping in from the north. There's one there, in fact, you saw that dropped in over us. That would be Friday morning. So we'll have to work on this forecast, because if we didn't have these features diving in, it would be hot. We'd be near 90, in fact. But there has been a growing concern, started last night, continues this morning on the data trends, that there will be a northwest attack of thunderstorms. And if they miss us or they don't materialize, we will just remain very warm, if not hot, until that happens. So that's something we'll fine tune, but mid-May could be a little wilder around here with the showers and thunderstorms giving us some fits. Okay, so let me show you the 10-day, and I'll get to some of your questions here before we wrap things up. All right, you see we got 77 today. Even with clouds, it's pretty impressive. As we get into tomorrow, fairly stormy setup, certainly for tomorrow, and then we'll wait for that front to show up and ignite the thunderstorms as it slides to Indiana. Should be after midday, the way it's trending now. Last time I looked at that anyway, it's like 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. The front should become apparent somewhere in Indiana. Once we lock onto that, we'll be able to track it, our sinking south and pushing the rain of here to give us a quiet start to Mother's Day weekend. There's the reversal. It comes back on Monday with more showers and storms, a little more of an active pattern, maybe a few more on the stronger side. We'll monitor that. And then we get that to kick out of the way. So we do get into that warmer summer feel. Just unfortunately, by the time we get into that Friday window, the very end of the 10-day, there could be complexes of storms that may cut us off. And, if that happens, then we may run into problems with bigger thunderstorms and kind of ruining the fun there. But, we'll take it one step at a time, and let's see how it plays out. Without a jet stream really being the boss of the lower 48 right now, this is what we got. We've got storm systems that are kind of just playing plinko, it seems like. They're doing their own thing, and we just have to try to stay ahead of their moves. And if they start to change direction, we'll let you know. It's a very cartoony way for me to explain everything I look at in the morning hours. Let's see. Chris, late arrival. Hope the band to the southwest dissipates. It will be certainly becoming more scattered and likely becoming a little more sporadic in nature, Chris. It's got a better moisture field than what it has over here. So in our area. So as it moves north and east, it's going to be more split apart, a little more ragged look to it. So you're right. There is a chance you could squeeze in a mow there before it happens. Tina, how you doing, Tina? Any possible alert days, 10 days or so? No alert days yet, because there's no organized severe. What I say that could change that would be those bigger complexes of storms that drop in from the northwest when we actually get into the 80s, the summer heat. Yeah, you're going to have to likely issue alert days for that. Sometimes you only get about 12-hour heads up on those. I don't see enough support yet to throw an alert day out for that pattern because that pattern is not fully in the 10-day yet. It's just beyond it. And I think it's going to be a little more on Saturday and Sunday. So starting tomorrow, and if confidence is still high on tomorrow, we may do a rare day 10 alert day for that potential, but there's a lot of steps to look at before we get to that point. But we're not ready today to make that call. Carrie, wave 3 was really pushing the horizon. AI model, they're not showing it. Was that it? It was an agreement for the Derby period for that to happen. We would like to see it again, and I think you guys liked it. But there are meetings that are above my pay grade that are happening even as I speak. Those meetings are happening. So you may see it back once again. But again, it was more of a kindness to them since they're here. A local company, they wanted to pick the station they felt deserved to have a test run of this. And so we got that test run and shared it with you all. And now that Derby is over, now we're seeing what's next. So we'll let you know when there is a decision made on that. So hang tight, Carrie. I know it's one of your favorites. So hang tight. You may see it again soon. We'll keep you updated. Adam, is it unusual for a cutoff lows to last this long? No, not at all. In fact, Ryan Oak and I were talking about how he remembers a late season frost in May in 2020. And I went back, and sure enough, May 9th was 34 degrees. 34 degrees. That was, and they did 38 like a week later on the 11th, I believe, in May. And then a week and a half later, it was nonstop 90s before we even got through mid-May. So in 2020, what that tells me, I haven't looked at the weather pattern, but what that tells me, when you get to that kind of extreme of frost to 90, it was likely a cutoff pattern setup. Very much a cutoff flow from the jet stream, and you're getting these wild extremes. And I think that's basically what we're in right now. Very similar setup to 2020 right now in our weather pattern. And so it has happened before. It just always happens at the time of the year when it's highly visible and everyone catches it a little easier there. All right, I think everyone's good. Am I related to Chris Goode at Horizon? We don't know. We discussed that before. Sure, right? I mean, technically our last name is Goode, not Goody. So there are a lot of Goodes out there, especially if you know anyone in Central Kentucky. A lot of Goodes in that area. Okay, all right. I'm going to ramble on for one more second here, and I got to run. I think I hear Myra. She's coming for me. All right, everyone seems to be in good shape. All right, I tell you what, I'm going to run. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. I know it's cloudy outside, not the best of looks. I get that, but still try to get out there and enjoy it. It is pretty outside. Take your allergy meds so you don't sneeze so much. And then just keep an eye on the radar trends today. But tomorrow is our day for much more action on the radar for showers, even if you rumbles of thunder. But the prize for it all is that cold front moving in tomorrow that will give us a really nice Friday, Saturday, and a good chunk of Mother's Day. Thank you all. Appreciate you. And thanks for watching and your support. It means a lot to us. We see all your names. All right. So you guys are our family here. So we appreciate it. And I'll talk to you guys come up at 11 a.m. on midday.